brings
I
us
like
to our next
Diggs.
topic, the Bills.
Yeah, we're gonna jump to the Bills now.
So you're right. We didn't get Hopkins, but we got Diggs though, and we needed another receiver to help out John Brown and Cole Beasley.
Yeah.
And I think Diggs might be a perfect role.
I
of
really
offense.
like Diggs, but you know what actually hurt the perception of the Diggs trade was the Hopkins trade. Because when you compare the two, you're like, wow, they gave
right at
up
the same
more
time.
for a lesser receiver. Why didn't they get the better receiver? You know,
The Bills' offense is starting to shape into an identity. So you got Josh Allen, obviously. The team's built around him. And Devin Singletary came out last year. I was highly on him. I made a video about him. He did great. And I think he's going to be the starting, the all-around back for the Bills going forward. And finally, Dawson Knox is jumping into that number one tight end role, where I thought he should have been. He's only what? How old is this kid?
he's young.
Like 21 maybe?
I mean, so far he's played great. He just hasn't had a lot of opportunity. And I like to, as an analogy, I kind of liken him
He's
to
23.
to Darren Waller with the Raiders.
Yeah, he's 23 years old.
Darren Waller, had problems with drugs, was out of the league for a bit, came back, super talented guy, got his life on straight. The Raiders let Jared Cook go in free agency, which everyone thought was a big mistake.
Yeah.
But they needed to be able to give Darren Waller a shot and make him the starter because they knew he had talent, but they needed to give him a shot. And that's what happened. And last year he blew up Darren Waller out of nowhere because he had that shot. And now Dawson Knox has that opportunity.
Yes.
He's going to be the starter, and he's either going to show
Every time he got
out.
the ball last season, he
He played
made
great.
a big play.
Yeah, so I really think he can succeed, and he's going to have a shot. If not, then they're going to have to either draft or trade for a receiver.
I'm interested.
Tight end.
I'm interested to see. Well, then you got Tyler Croft too. So
Yeah.
between the two, you never know. Lee Smith's a good
He was-
blocker.
Tyler Croft was a backup in Cincinnati.
Yeah,
He's.
yeah.
I mean, I don't think he's a role player.
He's an athletic. He's an athletic tight end.
He's a role player.
Lee Smith's a good blocker.
Lee
You're
Smith's
right.
a
He's
great
a role
blocker.
player. But then you got Duke Williams as the number 4, who can come out and make plays as a switch in. He's big, almost tight end body. Wide receiver.
What? He's the body type of receiver that the
depth.
Bills don't have anything.
Yeah, he's great depth.
Cole Beasley and John Brown are small.
Yeah.
Diggs isn't small, but he's not a big receiver
6'2".
either.
He's 6'2". He's right in the middle. He's
Duke
got
Williams
height.
is that one big receiver that
Yeah.
they have. So in the red zone, when they need a possession, they need to get a first down, and they can throw it up, and he can jump, jump
that's
ball,
what
catch
he's gonna
it.
be good for.
He's gonna have a role, especially in the red zone, and if they need a catch and jump ball.
That's why I wanted to bring up the depth that we have. I like T.J. Yeldon is behind Devin Singletary.
Well, and Zach Moss that they just drafted is a great running back.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Third-round pick.
I personally think that you're going to have Devin Singletary as the lead back, and you're going to have Zach Moss as his complement.
Yeah.
I think he's going to jump Yeldon, Zach Moss, and they're going to be a really good duo
That's right,
for a long
that's right.
time.
That's what I think is going to happen.
He's a great running back.
That's a
Zach
good
Moss.
compliment for each other.
Yes,
too.
he's a hard runner. Singletary's more shifty, elusive. Zach Moss is a hard nosed runner.
So our lads, the most trusted, in my opinion, the most trusted scouting website in the country, they agree with you. Their number one pick out of our draft that they think is going to be the most outstanding player is Zach Moss.
Okay.
It says
I didn't know
this
that.
is what they said. Zach Moss, before he made the Buffalo Bills, and they show his stat line, and 3-year starter.
Yeah.
And he rewrote the running back record at Utah, 2019 All-America and Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Year. So our lads, I like to look at them every year before the season starts to see who they got as the good picks, and that's for the Bills. That's who they got.
I also really like that. I really like that draft pick, Zach Moss, like I just said, and also AJ Espinoza, the defensive end that the Bills got.
Yeah,
he's a great pick too.
They got him right now. He might start because over on the left side, on the right side you got Jerry Hughes. That's his spot. No one's taking that spot, but he's getting old too. So right now the Bills have him listed behind Jerry Hughes. Now he could fill in for Jerry Hughes, but on the other side, on the left, you got Mario Addison and Trent Murphy, 2 pretty good, respectable starting type caliber players. But
I think you're going to see a big rotation.
But that's what I'm saying. AJ, he might go over on that side.
He's going to be a starter at some point.
He's going to be a starter.
Maybe
so, like
he's just a rotation this year. They work him in.
Have 4 good players there.
Yes.
Rotated.
You want to keep those guys fresh.
In the middle at tackle, you got Ed Oliver and Vernon Butler.
Yep.
That's what we're going to see. Those are pretty much. But then you just got Harrison Phillips.
Yeah.
So you got a rotation there. I like our front.
I'm a big Harrison
That's a
Phillips
good front
fan.
seven right there.
Yep. I'm a huge football fan. I love
Tremaine
the NFL,
Edmonds- Tremaine
but I
Edmonds-
also I like college because I watch college not only because I enjoy it, but also to see the players coming into the NFL.
Yeah.
So I know a lot about incoming players. I study the draft. I watch the draft in its entirety, and I make my own predictions and stuff. And I actually love diehard fans love the draft.
Yeah.
Casual fans are like, I don't even know these names.
Right,
Who is this?
So that brings us to our linebackers now. So our linebackers are tough, dude. All right. Let's start off with the middle linebacker, Tremaine Edmonds.
Yeah, he's a beast.
He is the focal point of our defense right now.
Yeah.
You build around him though. You got Matt Milano, who coming off 2 back-to-back great seasons. They also got Brian Cox Jr., who I don't know what's going to happen with him, but we'll see how he does. And then they got AJ Klein from New Orleans, who's a starting caliber. Easily slide him in and start him right away.
Well, Brian Cox is more of an end.
He's more of an end, but yeah.
So, but I love Tremaine Edmonds. I mean, that draft actually, that was one of the targets that I wanted the Raiders. I wanted the Raiders to draft Tremaine Edmonds. That's one of the guys I wanted. So that was huge get for the Bills. Matt Milano, very solid linebacker. That third linebacker though is a little shaky. Most teams now are in the nickel the majority of the time.
That's what I was just going to say.
The nickel is
the Bills will be in the nickel.
The
most
nickel
of the time.
is for most teams. Your nickel is actually your starting defense now.
Yeah,
and then
you're going to see Matt Milano and Tremaine Edmonds on both sides of the field.
Yeah, you're going to see them all the time in the nickel.
You're going to see an extra back. So you got Josh Norman on one side, Tre'Davious White on the other side, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer at safety, and then it's going to be either
you're going to see the slot.
Then
that's the nickel.
You're going to see Saran Neal jump down and play the nickel, or Taron Johnson.
Yep,
and it depends that's going to depend on what team we're playing against and what type of receivers.
Well, and it's going to see
so if it's a
camp,
tight end,
and
if
it's going to be
tight end,
it might be a battle in camp.
That's what I'm saying. If it's an extra tight end, Neal will be out there. If it's an extra wide receiver, you'll see Taron Johnson covering him. That's how we're going to see that.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, you don't always know that. You can't always get off the field to change it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's good we have all that depth.
No, absolutely. So a lot of people don't realize your base 4-3 is not really your base anymore. Your nickel is your base defense. Your 4-3, your 4-3 is only for short yardage or if they go heavy or so.
Yeah. And then against the heavy passing teams, you see a lot of dimes. See a lot of extra,
of course. But the nickel is actually you're in the nickel more than 50% of the time. It's your main defense now. Well, that's because it's a passing league now.
Right.
Back in the day when you had 3 running backs going off the board in the first 10 picks of a draft, and you had these great running backs that were highly valued, 4-3 was your base defense.
Now we're starting to see more hybrid safeties, like Neal, for example. He can come down and cover, and you're seeing more players like that.
Yeah. You're seeing a lot of more hybrid players at all positions.
So safeties, either a safety is a hybrid linebacker, or you see a linebacker as a hybrid safety going both ways.
Yeah, they call them money backers.
Yeah.
That's what they call them now. So
we'll
someone who can play linebacker or safety, and then you're even seeing hybrids that can play safety or corner. Yeah. You're seeing hybrids on the defensive line where they can play end or tackle. So I mean, hybrid, that's a big thing. It used to be called a tweener. And people, they didn't really get drafted, or they got drafted really late because they said, well, I don't know what position he's going to be.
Right.
Well, now all of a sudden these tweeners are super valuable.
Deion Buchanan and
they're versatile. So it used to be a knock on them as a tweener when they were in between positions and they got drafted really late, or they didn't get drafted at all. And now it's actually.
Do you remember when Deion Buchanan got drafted to the Cardinals, and they were like, "What is he? Is he a linebacker? Is he a safety? Is he a corner?" They didn't know what he was.
Yeah, he's a great player, and he's one of the first people where they came up with that name Moneybacker.
Yeah.
Bruce Arians came up with that name for him.
Yeah.
They used to just call it a tweener, a hybrid, whatever. But now they actually put a name on it with Deion Buchanan.
And now every team has a player like that.
Now everybody wants the versatility and the hybrids, and you just saw it high in the draft. Isaiah Simmons.
Right.
He can play almost anywhere.
Yeah. So you're seeing defensive schemes starting to morph into something different.
Yeah, so it's the hybrid and the versatility is really awesome now, and it makes sense. As a defensive coordinator, you love that versatility. You can do so much more when you're designing plays and packages with that versatility.
And a lot of hybrid fronts where you switch between 3 down and then 4 down. Yeah. You go back and forth, back and forth.
A lot of times now you actually see 5 but down, one of them might be standing. Yeah. One of them might be in a 2-point stand instead of a 3-point stand.
Carolina,
but it's really 5 on the line.
The year when Carolina went to the Super Bowl and lost, that was their defense was 5'2".
And that happens a lot now on
That was
passing
Sean
downs.
McDermott.
Well, that's what you see on passing downs now. But you'll usually have one guy in a 2-point stance, not a 3-point stance.
Yeah.
But it's actually 5 on the front
It's
line.
considered a 5'2", but you're right.
Exactly.
One guy was kind of standing around.
Yeah.
You didn't know if he was going to be a spy. You didn't know if
he
was
could
gonna
either
jump back.
he could either jump back
And,
or
if,
rush.
and if a coach is good enough, they train their players to do everything.
And they disguise
Switch
that.
it up,
and
switch it up, switch it
yeah,
up.
and they'll like bluff with that rusher.
I think that's
and
why
they'll
they
drop
got
in
Mario
coverage.
Edison. Mario Edison was one of those players who are good at dropping back in coverage.
Yeah, he can drop, but Addison also can play tackle.
Yeah.
He can kick in on rushing downs.
That's what I'm saying. He's
so
for that 5'2" type of defense, but you don't know who's going to do what. You got players like Mario
Well, I
Edison.
personally think you're going to see on rushing downs, you're going to see Addison kick in, and you're going to see AJ Espinoza come on and fill in an end.
Yeah.
So you're going to see that a lot.
Interested to see what McDermott does with his defense because
Yeah.
we're stacked. We got a lot of depth. And
Absolutely. And McDermott just got a contract
this is our
extension.
year. You know that, right?
Oh, yeah,
This
he's-
is the eclipse. The stars are aligned right now for the Bills. We're in that window right now,
Yeah.
and we have cap space. So not only are we stacked everywhere in the field, we have really no holes anywhere.
Yep.
But we have money to spend just
Yeah.
in case we need
Absolutely.
it. So by trade deadline, something big might happen.
Yep. You're going to see the Bills' defense is going to be good. And McDermott's a defensive-minded coach. They got the pieces. You're going to see that defense be good. What's really going to be how far can the Bills go? Does Josh Allen take that next step? And then also, does Diggs live up to his lofty trade status? And do you
It's
see
interesting
do you see
because
the
Diggs-
improvement of the offense from last year?
Diggs and Josh Norman, wide receiver and corner, they're both in the same boat, whereas they both are coming off of a down season, and they both have to reprove themselves.
Well, Diggs didn't really have a down season.
Diggs didn't really have a down season,
beast.
but he had some bad games. He
Yeah.
had some games where he didn't do anything, 0 catches.
Yeah.
But now that he's on a team where he might be more focused on, he has a chance to really show out. And Josh Norman is back in the same system where he thrived in.
Diggs the last couple of years has balled out, but he hasn't been happy with the team, with
No,
Minnesota.
He wanted more.
out.
He wanted more.
He wanted out. The Bills. Now he knows the Bills valued him. They paid a lot for him.
Yeah.
And now he knows he's somewhere where he's wanted, and that they'll make him the number one because he was always like 1A and 1B with Adam Thielen.
Yeah.
And he just wasn't happy because they ran so much. Mike Zimmer's
And they
a
pass it-
defensive-minded coach
Yeah.
that runs the ball, so he wasn't getting the touches he wanted.
And-
They would avoid him for whole games at a time.
Yeah.
So he's finally somewhere where he's wanted,
Yeah.
and he knows that they're going to feed him the targets, and
Yeah.
he's going to be
He
their
gets
number
open,
one.
too.
He
gets open.
He's a great route runner.
Yeah, he
he's
gets
a
open.
precision route runner, and so as long as him and Josh Allen get chemistry, and Josh Allen can learn to let the ball go before he sees the guy open, that's one thing that Josh Allen needs to work on. He's got such a strong arm. He waits for his guys to make a break, and then he tries to force it in. He needs to start learning how to lead the players, and before they come out of their break.
Yeah.
So I actually was not a big fan of Josh Allen coming out of college because he went to a small school, and his completion percentage in college was 50%. Generally, you talk to anybody, any analyst, any draft, anyone that scouts, your completion percentage is going to drop 10% in the pros, which would be 40%, which would be awful. So I was a little bit scared about him, but he actually, at the end of last year, he still made a lot of dumb plays like in the playoffs and stuff where he just fumbled the ball running and stuff like that. But he really impressed me at the end of the regular season and into the playoffs.
He's playing his lights out right now.
He really is. So I'm actually really excited, and what I saw at the end of the season made me think that he can be a really good quarterback
for sure.
So
And he gets out of pressure too.
Yeah.
He's a mobile quarterback too.
yeah, that's going to be of course. Yeah, he's a great running quarterback as well.
Yeah.
So the key is going to be, in my opinion, on offense, Allen and Diggs.